When I use words, it can be considered as dharma. When I push energy, it can be considered as dharma. Can never be lived unless a person in whom the moksha and dharma has become. I wanted all of you to know, second sloka I chanted. That sloka means Shankara, Shiva, who came down as Shankaracharya, Keshava, Vishnu, who came down as Vyasa. I bow down to both of them for creating Sutra and Bhashya. Vyasa is Sutrakara, Badarayana Vyasa. Shankara is Bhashyakara, commentator. I bow down to both of them again and again. Because today, the sutra which we are going to discuss today is a very important concept. Very subtle concept. Almost impossible to grasp. And I want to tell you honestly, today noon when I was resting, before entering into samadhi, I just see the sutra and put it under my head. And literally the downloading happens. That whole resting time, in that samadhi, the revelation about the sutra happens. I read this sutra, today's sutra, and I was resting. I couldn't catch how to present it. How to exactly put in right words and present it. Please understand, it's mystical but truth. Suddenly I saw kind of a two intense thought flow, argument flow for this sutra just hit my inner space. Two thought flow about the same sutra. How the sutra can be understood and debated in two thought flows. Just both of them hit my inner space and became almost juice of my inner space. I just looked up and saw how these two thought flows are happening in me. I saw it's Akashic record of Shankara and Vyasa's arguments. Today I am going to tell you exactly what Shankara and Vyasa argued on this sutra. I can actually repeat the whole thing in Sanskrit. Because you guys will not be able to understand, I'll repeat in English. Exactly the argument style and structure which Vyasa and Shankara had when they argued. I do not know whether there is any book exists. As on now, I have not read any book. But I'll express today whatever got downloaded in me. If there is any book, you can find out and verify. I challenge, it will be verbatim. It will be verbatim. Because I saw very clearly the argument flow of Vyasa and argument flow of Shankara, both landing. All of you should be aware that Vyasa himself came down to check Shankara's strength on this philosophy and to bless Shankara. The argument went on and on and on, and how can it end? And who can win between Shankara and Vyasa? That's why Bhatmabada sings the great song, great verse saying, Shiva is sitting here as Shankara and Vishnu is sitting here as Vyasa. How can this argument end? I bow down to both of you. Suddenly Shankara realizes, oh, it's Vyasa who is sitting in front. And Vyasa realizes Shankara who is sitting in front. Then both of them end the argument. Vyasa blesses Shankara saying that I will give you 16 more years of life. So, he blesses Shankara and leaves. So exactly what was that argument flow? Today I will present to you guys. Very sweet thought flow. Because in this argument, nobody is trying to convince other. like a chatting over the cup of coffee. That is the way the whole thought flow was. Shankara adds some deeper understanding and Vyasa adds deeper understanding. Then Shankara goes to the next level of understanding and Vyasa goes to the next level of understanding. It goes on and on and on. There is no argument. And nobody is agreeing with each other. That is the most funny thing. I'll present to you. You'll be shocked. How can this kind of argument go on? Neither both of them disagreeing with each other, nor they are agreeing with each other. Tat Hetu Vyapadeshāccha. I'll directly give you guys the Akashic Records, the cosmic reading, Akashic Record of Shankara and Vyasa. I cannot find a single translation which even connects with Shankara and Badarayana's thought flow. Tat Hetu Vyapadeshāccha. In the first chapter, first section, Sutra number 14. Shankara starts saying, as the bliss is the cause, abundance is effect. The abundance can be considered as Maya. Vyasa replies, if something can be effect of the bliss, how can it have some other quality than bliss? But by the word Maya, a common perception can be something other than Brahman, cause. Shankara continues, the attribution something other than Brahman is Maya itself is not complete factual cognition, as the bliss and the abundance cannot be separated by its existence and action. Vyasa starts, the action and inaction both penetrates certain personality existence. You cannot attribute the personality change during action or inaction. Then Shankara continues, the action naturally expresses the intensity of the personality, so you cannot say the inaction or the action can represent the same personality. Then Vyasa continues, as Dharma and Moksha, in inaction same personality is in moksha, in action he shows the dharma. So action and inaction both exist in same space. Then Shankara continues, even though action, inaction exhibits itself in a same space, dharma is surely one step different other than moksha's very existence. It is a line moving in the love, in the lok, in the flow, the very essence of the source. Even though it is love, the flow of the love is dharma. So the dharma and moksha cannot be, may not be equated for common understanding. I have just clearly repeated the flow as it landed in me. Now I will comment on it. It's an exact flow. Now, what we will make out of it, I have not changed a single word. I just repeated the flow as it is. The Shankara's flow. As the being and doing expresses and intensifies the flow of the original existence, being and doing consists of the original source. Vyasa's flow, even though being and doing consists of the original flow is not just being and doing, something more than the being and doing. The Shankara's flow, as the moksha, when moves considered as dharma, the source, dharma and moksha may not become equivalent. So we have to look into the subtle possible difference between Maya and Brahman. Vyasa flows, words like dharma, artha, kama, moksha can be different, but the original flow, the moksha, when it vibrates in the being by the doing in a majority space, it is called artha, the wealth. But when the doing is reduced by the push of the being, it is called kama, pleasure. When being and doing is completely overtakes the other, it is called dharma or moksha. So because all the four flows with the very source, on the very source, even though all the four are considered to be different, it cannot be different, as the source and the flow is one and the same, like water and the river. Shankara flows, whether water and the river flows and stays as the source and flow, it can change by its very quality, by the flow or by being stagnant. As the dharma, which does not constantly upgrade itself, does not lead to moksha, so the moksha, which does not directly useful to the common man, can never become dharma. The words go on denoting the same, but the very flow differs based on the time and space and requirement, which is the influence of Maya. So you cannot say the Maya and Brahman does not have any gap. Vyasa starts, if you accept the gap between the Maya and Brahman, which creates too many complications and questions which cannot be sorted out by any argument, the flow of the Maya into Brahman and Brahman into Maya has no boundary which can be experienced by the Upanishads or the inner space of your very experience. As per the Atma Atta Sastra Pramana, the differences are never felt except by the different usages of the word. You cannot grasp the Brahman Maya's independent existence or even a slight difference. Then comes the Shankara's flow, Shankara's argument. If there is no difference between the Brahman and the Maya's flow, if there is no addition or deletion between these two, then the Dharma and Moksha is supposed to be one and the same. How can Dharma and Moksha be one and the same, as they have to be dropped for the sake of other at particular point? Dharma has to be dropped for Moksha. If you are interested too much in Dharma, Moksha cannot be achieved. This is the revelation not only of Shastras and Atma Pramana, the personal experience. Then comes Vyasa. There is a space where the Dharma and Moksha cannot be dropped for the sake of another, as enlightenment or the Atmanubhava is always transmitted only by a personality, where the Moksha and Dharma has met one another, merged into that completely. So the transmission happens only by a being in which both are merged. You don't need to drop one another when you have the direct master who is transmitting that experience. After all, it never gets transmitted without a personality, where the moksha and dharma has never become one, has never become merged. So the necessity to drop the dharma for moksha, necessity to drop the moksha for dharma does not exist when the real transmission is happening. Now I'll have to translate. I can promise the whole thought flow is not mine. At least the close disciples can find out my thought flow. My thought flow can be easily, you can find out. I saw very clearly when the last argument was put, because it touched the Guru sentiment, Shankara fell into the reminiscent mood of Govindabada and did not present any argument. That's where it ended. Just he fell into that loving mood of cared by Govindabada. So he did not continue the further arguments on the Sutra. The further exploration did not happen. It just stopped with it. As it landed on the Guru sentiment, where the Dharma and Moksha merges into one personality, the requirement for renouncing one for the other does not exist when the transmission is happening through the Master. When you are living and following, flowing with the Master, you don't need to renounce Dharma for the sake of Moksha, Moksha for the sake of Dharma. Because the idea you carry about Dharma is not the ultimate Dharma. It is not Dharma at all. Forget about ultimate. It's not Dharma at all. When there is a person, Moksha, alive, sitting in front of you, to describe Dharma every moment to you, just go with it. You don't need to even renounce what you may think. If you are just flowing with the Master's experience and flow, and by his words and by himself, along with him, you are not renouncing Dharma. Even if you renounce all the ideas of Dharma, whatever you think as Dharma, even those ideas are taken away from you. You are asked completely do something opposite. Even then, the very renunciation of Dharma does not happen in you, as the Dharma itself is expressing itself directly in your life through a person who is established in the ultimate Dharma and Moksha. So with this word, Shankara just somehow relaxed into the deep love, bhakti, the Guru-Bhakti. So he stopped or relaxed from presenting further argument, because any argument Shankara will present for this thought trend will be disrespectful to the Guru-Bhakti, his own Guru. So he just rested. I translated, but the flow, the trend, and in my life, 8,000 hours or last 8 years, I have never spoken any word closing my eyes. Did you see one revelation? When moksha and dharma overlaps on each other or pushes each other, the being and doing, if there is more being, less doing, it is called pleasure. If there is more doing, less being, it is called wealth, artha. Wow. The whole life science is over. And if completely being takes over, moksha. If completely doing takes over, dharma. The aphorisms of existence. This is what is Brahma Sutra. Understand? Aphorisms of existence. How you exist. How you can exist. I never realized in my life sitting and talking can be so tasty. I used to hear when people say, people sit and talk for hours together. Sitting and talking is so tasty. Some stories, rumors, gossiping. I'll dig out the sacred secrets from the sutra. See, as the cause is bliss, effect is abundance. Maybe abundance can be considered as Maya, illusion. No, it is not. As the cause creates effect without any gap, without any reason, and can never be separated, as an innate experience and tendency, the cause is inbuilt with effect. Bliss is inbuilt with abundance. Abundance cannot be Maya. Then finally whole thing boils down to whether Dharma is important or Moksha is important. Naturally everybody will say Moksha only is important. Then why Dharma and Moksha are two different? Then it boils down to Moksha can never be tasted unless a person in whom Moksha and Dharma is merged in your life transmits it to you. Dharma can never be lived unless a person in whom the Moksha and Dharma has become one teaches you. Moksha can never be tasted unless he transmits. The guy who experienced both together in him, both are merged in him. Same way, you can't live Dharma unless he teaches. When I use words, it can be considered as Dharma. When I push energy, it can be considered as Moksha. If you are sitting and grasping words, you are grasping Dharma. If you are sitting and grasping energy, you are grasping Moksha. But both are from same source, where both have become one and the same. In some body, both have become one, only that body can transmit even one to you. Because it can be transmitted only from a body where both have become one, you don't need to renounce one for the sake of other. If you catch his energy, naturally you will go with his words. If you go with his words, naturally you will catch the energy. That's all. I think today you guys cannot have a debate. Or do one thing. Vyasa team transcribe the Vyasa's thought flow. Shankara's team transcribe Shankara's thought flow. And both of you try to repeat those same arguments in your understanding. As per your understanding, try to repeat the same arguments. Maybe you will have more deeper understandings. Understand? Today, I have not only given the sacred secret for debate, I have given the complete thought flow for debate. The very thought flow for debate is given. Very thought flow for the debate is already presented to you. You just intensify those words as you understand. I can give you these three sacred secrets. Is abundance and bliss different? Is Dharma and Moksha different? Is the master is the source of both? You can honestly debate. Sometimes you can have a different view. You can say, I can understand master is Moksha, but I don't think he is Dharma. You can say. You can present your own arguments. You can say, no, I think master is Dharma, he may not be Moksha. Or you can say, I think he is neither both, Dharma nor Moksha. Or you can say he is both, but he transmits only one, Dharma or Moksha. Or you can say no, he is both and he transmits both. You can take any flow. The sacred secret can be easy source of Dharma and Moksha. Does he transmits both? Who gets which? Or who receives which? Who receives what? You can explore. You can debate. Send me the results of your debate. Then I'll further explore into this thought trend. Let Vyasa and Shankara bless all of us to understand their very thought flow. Let them bless us to experience their very energy flow, the ultimate Brahma Sutras, the ultimate aphorisms of existence, the ultimate existence itself. I bless you all to achieve, live, experience, express, radiate and share the eternal bliss. Nithyananda. Thank you.
Nithyananda, thank you for watching, and if you found the video enlightening,
please give it a like, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe to stay connected with us.
Don't forget to click the bell icon to receive the notifications.